Hi, this is the class Clitellata by DeVries. So what is a clitellate? This class of organisms are characterized as segmented worms with a clitellum. Common animals within this class include earthworms, leeches, Entradia, and Brachiodelida. This class is divided into two subclasses. The Oligochaeta, consisting of roundworms and earthworms, and the Hirudinea, consisting of leeches, Entradia, and Brachiodelida. And as seen above and to the right, these are some of the common anatomy parts of mostly worms, but kind of applies to both worms and leeches. Now, taxonomy. To the left, this is a simple phylogenetic classification involving the phylum Annelida being broken down into two classes and some subclasses. Each class introduces an example of an organism found within this class. I built this classification this way to display taxonomy and evolutionary differences between the classes and generally where they are. Now to the right. This is part of a complex phylogenetic tree created by Marotta and others by studying the differences in the 18S rDNA sequence between different organisms of the Clitellata. It shows species names and gives a number displaying how closely related it is to others based on its genetic sequence. So some defining characteristics. All clitellates are segmented worms and must contain a clitellum used for reproduction. Most clitellates are also hermaphrodites, meaning they have both the male and the female reproductive parts. Compared to other worm classes, they generally have less setae also. Oligochaeta, including the earthworms and the roundworms, they lack suckers, usually have between 100 and 150 segments, and have around 4 bundles of setae per segment. Hirudinea include leeches and Entradia. They have suckers, usually around 34 segments, and completely lack setae. That's why they're known as the smooth worms. So now their typical life cycle. Time frame between stages are usually different between species, but follow a very similar life cycle where cocoons will hatch in the soil. Over time, hatchlings will mature into adults. Once they mature, their clitellum is obvious, and then they're considered hermaphrodites, meaning they have both the male and female reproductive parts. But next, the cocoons are produced periodically by adults through sexual reproduction. That's where the hermaphrodite part comes in. But earthworms and leeches differ because only earthworms can reproduce both sexually and asexually. Leeches, on the other hand, can only reproduce sexually. And now their lifestyle. Leeches can be found everywhere. They are mostly found in aquatic environments, both freshwater and marine, but some can be found on land. Leeches are important due to their role in the food chain. According to marine.gov, they act as predators, prey, parasites, and vectors of parasites in a lake ecosystem. Basically, they are a healthy part of any ecosystem. Earthworms, on the other hand, live mostly in the soil, although some species have been observed in some aquatic ecosystems, living in the sand below the water. They are important to the soil due to their oxygen and moisture that are brought deeper into the soil through their tunnels. They also work to make great manure, but we'll cover more of that in future slides. So believe it or not, both of these animals hold importance to humans. Leeches, according to the university hospitals, have been used for thousands of years for bloodletting. In other words, removing blood for therapeutic reasons. although this is no longer in practice. But more recently, they've been used for increasing blood flow post-surgery, especially when reattaching parts and limbs are involved. Earthworms, on the other hand, eat by decomposing organic material from the soil. In the process of doing this, their tunnels help to bring oxygen and moisture to the deeper parts of the soil and the roots of crops, and overall improve soil quality to help crops grow. And now some fun facts. Over 90 species of leeches can be found on land. When you think of leeches, you don't really think of them being on land, but over 90 species have been found to live and thrive in those moist environments. The longest earthworm was recorded in South Africa to be 21 feet long when fully extended. And similar for the leeches, the largest leech is the giant Amazon leech, which can get to 18 inches long and 4 inches wide, which is like huge for leeches. Leeches also have 10 eyes, but poor eyesight because those eyes are used to detect light and motion instead of to see kind of like what we do. And then finally, earthworms can regrow lost or damaged segments, which is part of their asexual reproduction.